So when I reviewed the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip last year, I've mentioned in the video about how I was a little skeptical about how the device would fare against to what is already typically available out right now. Because yes, it is a foldable phone, but is that it? So the question that you might ask is that how unique is this phone besides the whole folding form factor? Well, here's my review after using it for a week to give you that answer. Now as a recap, here are the specs. The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 comes with a Snapdragon 888 chipset, which has 5G support for the standalone and non-standalone 5G networks, where it comes with the Adreno 660 GPU, and the variant that I have with me is the 8GB of RAM with 128GB of UFS 3.1 storage. And when it comes to the software, it comes with One UI version 3.1.1 skin on Android 11. Now, since I was a bit more technical on the overall build quality when I was doing my hands-on comparison video between this new Flip 3 against the previous Flip, I'm just going to quickly break down on how it was using the phone daily. Now, one of the biggest improvements is that the overall finish of the phone, because just like the Z Fold 3, I don't have to worry about the phone falling off from my hands. And trust me guys, for the previous Flip, there were many moments where I was always at the edge of dropping the phone as soon as I took it out from my pocket. And being the kind of guy who always carries two phones with me, the previous Flip wasn't something that I could just chuck it and take it out from my pocket when I need it, as I always needed to slowly take it out with two hands and opening the phone because I have that anxiety of it dropping down. And because of this matte finish on the Flip 3's frame, although it has a glossy finish on this cream color version, the phone felt very nice and grippy, and although I never dropped the phone while using it, but if I do, I will know that the Corning Gorilla Glass Victus protection at the back will give me that sort of peace of mind. And speaking of finishes, Samsung has embraced the trendy lifestyle factor of the phone by introducing their very own cool and hip accessories for the Flip 3, like the silicone with a ring or even a strap with plenty of colors for you guys to choose from. Then there's also clear covers with a ring, a leather cover, and also the Aramid case. So yes, this could actually give you better customization for the look of the Flip instead of only choosing the 7 colors available for the Flip 3. And if I were going to choose on which one that I personally prefer, I would totally go with the white color, not only because of the black and the white two-tone color, but I personally really like the matte black finish at the sides as well, which is one of Samsung.com's exclusive colors besides grey and pink. But I would like to know which colors out of these 7 colors would you guys go for? Let me know at the comment section below. Now looking at the displays on the Z Flip 3, a really huge improvement came in the form of the cover display, where once folded, the cover display is at 4 times larger at 1.9 inches compared to a tiny little 1.1 inches on the previous generation. And here's where I'm going to take a little more time to give you more insight into this screen, because if you don't know how useful this is, it might be just a regular phone depending on how you use the screen. Now by default, the screen looks like it is a part of a black tone finish of the phone, which was kinda nice. And to activate the screen, you just need to double tap, and here's where you'll see the day, time and date with a cute little animation depending on the clock widget that you choose. And when you touch and hold the screen over here at the home screen, you can easily change it or even customize it to your own, but I've chosen to one of the default ones available. And from the home screen, if you swipe towards the left, it will show all the notifications received. But if you like to reply to those messages or just look further, it will prompt you to open the phone and have a further continuity over on the inside. Then swiping towards the right brings you to the default widgets like the calendar, weather, music, the next alarm, and timer, where you can also add in more widgets, which at this current point of time, there are not many available, so hopefully there will be more available widgets for this cover screen. Now, among all my personal favorites is the ability to actually use the cover screen as your camera's viewfinder, and this could be activated simply by pressing the power button twice, and here's where you can scroll through either to use the viewfinder style to take photos and also videos if you scroll left to right, and you can also change the lenses accordingly by swiping up or down. Now, the common complaint that some reviewers was making about the whole aspect ratio when using this cover screen as a viewfinder is how it is in square and you can't adjust it. Well, to be honest guys, I am actually very fond of this aspect ratio because this aspect ratio is actually perfect for posting on Instagram where you don't have to worry about cropping it to fit your timeline accordingly. And I also love how you can activate the screen when someone else is taking your picture, so you can actually have a preview of yourself to adjust the angle accordingly instead of hoping to God that the person took a good shot of you. Now, one thing to note is the fact that this cover screen might not be as visible during harsh sunlight, so keep that in mind. So yes guys, just using this screen alone is a huge and a proper justification on how much that the phone is not just a foldable phone, as it gives more versatility for people who loves to vlog or even create high quality and versatile shots. Next, let's talk about the unfolding screen on the inside. It has a 6.7-inch dynamic AMOLED 2x display, which has the same display technology of its elder sibling, the Z Fold 3, with a resolution of 1080 by 2640 pixels, and on top of that, it also comes with a high adaptive 120Hz refresh rate. So yes, there is a definite screen improvements compared to the previous iteration. Now, the screen quality is like the phone is painted with this kind of colors, with amazing color accuracy, especially when it comes to watching videos. And yes, I also tend to watch YouTube videos on this flex mode as well, since it's something that I've been very used to on the Z Fold 2 and now just recently on the Z Fold 3. And finally, on the screen, there is a new screen protector which apparently is more scratch resistant, which is great to know because the previous Flip does have some scuff and scratches. So let's see how this new screen protector holds up when using the phone for a really long time. Now, in terms of the cameras, there is a 2-camera setup on the rear, a 12-megapixel f1.8 main lens down below, and a 12-megapixel f2.2 ultra-wide angle lens right on top. And the selfie camera on the inside is a 10-megapixel f2.4 aperture camera. And once again, based on my test shots, Samsung proves that a high megapixel is not all that matters. Because if you check out these overall pictures, as you guys can see, it looked amazing with fantastic dynamic range on the main lenses, especially when it comes to the portrait mode shots. Now, the wide angle lens performance was also great both during the day and also the night mode as well. And when it comes to the selfie cameras, the regular selfie shots were great, especially when it comes to the portrait mode with excellent subject to background blur and a really flawless edge detection. And since it has a cool way of taking photos using this cover screen as mentioned earlier, you can get a really good quality photos this way too. And when it comes to video recording, both the rear and the front camera can record up to 4K 60 frames per second. And because of this small form factor, it makes recording videos on the phone really easy with amazing gimbal-like stabilization as well. So with this, do y'all think that the camera performed great with this 12 megapixel and 10 megapixel? For me, it performed flawlessly. Now, as for the phone speakers, the Flip 3 comes with stereo speakers and the placement are at the bottom of the phone and also at the earpiece area. Now, I was very surprised of how great the speakers were on the phone, especially with this small form factor. The loudness levels were good with great audio separation, and where it performed very well is at the lower mids to the highs, and here is a quick sound test. Anyway, hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. If you are, a nice big thumbs up would be very much appreciated, and subscribe to Adam Lobo TV if you haven't done so. Now, as for the Z Flip 3 software, it comes with One UI version 3.1.1 skin on top of Android 11. And while most of the software enhancements came from the cover screen as mentioned earlier, there are some cool added features also introduced over inside of the screen as well. Now, since it comes with a new One UI version, if you swipe towards the left, it will go to the Google feed, which the previous Flip didn't have. Now, like the Z Fold 3, the new lab settings under the advanced features were handy for situations to get the flex mode done for other apps which were not previously available natively for apps like Google Calendar or Facebook. And there still is the Edge panel to go through your frequently used apps over there as well. And based on me using the new One UI version 3.1.1 skin, I have to say that I have absolutely no complaints using the phone daily in terms of overheating. Although that the phone is using a Snapdragon 888 chipset, I'm happy to note that there was no overheating issues, where the only time where it felt a bit warm was towards the top of the phone when I was taking lots of videos and photos during a very bright afternoon daylight. Then as for the battery, the phone has 3300 mAh of battery, which is similar to the previous Z Flip. Now, while this 120Hz refresh rate or the adaptive display was very refreshing, pun intended, but where it really hit is during the battery life. Because I got an average of close to 4 hours of screen on time when I was at 10% battery with dark mode turned on with quite a heavy usage. And things start to improve when I put the refresh rate back to 60Hz, where I got an average of 4.5 hours on screen on time, so you do get a close to an hour more at this 60Hz refresh rate, so keep that in mind. And just so you all know that the phone has fast charging up to 15 watts, fast wireless charging up to 10 watts and reverse wireless charging up to 4.5 watts. Yes, this may not seem like flagship standards, so you'll need to keep that in mind when it comes to using the phone daily. And speaking of the screen on time on the adaptive display, let's hope for a software update that could improve the overall battery life, as I personally see that this is the only area where the phone did not really perform at its best. Next, let's talk about how the Z Flip 3 does when it comes to gaming. Firstly, on Genshin Impact, the game ran very smoothly initially at medium settings at 60 frames per second with motion blur turned off. Now, the phone did get a bit warm towards the top area of the phone after a really long gameplay. There were no battery drain issues, which was nice, and the game controls felt really nice, as though like you're using a gaming controller since it's nice and wide. So it's surely more comfortable when it comes to gaming on the Z Flip 3 compared to the Z Fold 3. However, there was some micro stutter and lag during the ultimate animation, once again only during a longer gameplay. Then when it comes to PUBG Mobile, as usual, the gameplay was very nice and optimized, so there were no issues at all over here, where the graphics were set to UHD and the frame rate was set to Ultra. So in conclusion, as mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you ever wondered how unique is this phone, besides the whole folding form factor, I would say this. With the additional features of the IPX8 water resistant rating, a way improved and a really useful cover screen itself gives the phone a huge justification that this is not just a regular phone that can fold into half, but it is also a very functional and not to mention a very stylish and lifestyle phone indeed. And continuing on the topic of being a lifestyle phone, I personally feel that this phone is catered to the type of crowd who does more vlogging, creating content, and just loves something that is totally out of the ordinary, but not for a typical power user like me. And that's why for me, I kind of lean towards the Z Fold 3 a little more. But yes, it's surely a great way to encourage people to finally get themselves a foldable smartphone, especially considering its very decent price of 3,999 ringgit for the 8GB of RAM with 128GB of storage and 4,199 ringgit for the 256GB of storage variant with the same 8GB of RAM. And I'll leave links down below for you guys to check it out or get yourself one. So guys, with this, do let me know what you guys think of the new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G. And is this a phone that will be your very first foldable smartphone? Let me know at the comment section below and let's discuss over there.